Hey, everybody. How's it going? Jeez, guys, it's December. Q4, 3 weeks until 2016. I hope you have your 2016 plan up and ready to go. Now, I just want to say thanks for tuning in. If you just found this show, I will tell you we talk about entrepreneurship through the lens of a real estate agent. And that's fine. Look, you might not have a high opinion of real estate agents. I can tell you that this business, if you can learn what these top agents do in real estate, you can apply this to anything. Plumber, painter, pie maker, I always say that. Okay, look, today's episode is this guy's a hitter, okay? Now, he does 200 million in volume, 500 deals. So this guy is, the top 0.25%. But you will find out, we dig into how he did it, right? What you're going to find out is that he started off deliberate. He started his business as a business. Now, as it developed, he really looked at what typical corporate models look like, and he mimicked that. Now, this is very, very different. Most agents who come on and put down big numbers, very much were deliberate about building a business as a business. Now, if you kind of don't understand what I clearly mean by that is most agents build a business as a lifestyle business, right? They work when they want to work. If they have a couple deals, 3, 5, 6 deals this month, they're happy, right? And they stop prospecting, they stop marketing. But this guy developed his business as a business with a CFO, a COO. I mean, again, copied a typical corporate structure. And because he followed that typical corporate structure with a management team, board of directors, from early days, he put the systems and processes in place to actually grow big. And again, when people think of developing a business, there's very much you're attracted. You want to go, oh, let me go get a deal. You don't have systems in place, and inevitably, you kind of get stuck along the way. You're right. It's the egg and chicken scenario, right? I can't go out and hire people because I don't have the money. I need, you know what I mean? Like I need the money before I can go out and do this. This guy just put it in place day one. Okay. Now we talk about, he shares this, that from day one, for him, it wasn't about getting a deal. It was about getting a listing, right? With the notion of he who controls the listings controls the inventory, which is very true. So he focused on that. And again, the difficult thing for most people in that situation is, a deal's a deal. Hey, there's a buyer. If I could earn $5, $10, $15, $20,000 in commission, let me work with that person, whether it's a guy or girl. This guy, turned those away. Said, look, I'm not going to work with those buyers early on. I want listings, which is great. We talk about how he developed his business as a marketing-based business. Okay, and again, it takes dollars. It takes a little bit of guts. You gotta close your eyes, hold your nose, and jump. And spend the money. Now, so and again, when you are a marketing business, you are an attraction-based business. People come knocking on your door rather than you going and chasing them down. Now, I will say this is a good time to just break in. And, this show is sponsored by Real Estate Radio Experts. The pinnacle of marketing is radio. It's all on the listing side. It's not as expensive as some people think. There's instant credibility. There's massive reach, and you're talking to the right person. So anyhow, if you think you want to level up for 2016, go check out realestateradioexperts.com, fill out the getting started sheet, and see if you're a good fit. Okay, moving on. The other, and this kind of ties back into radio. For him, everything early on was about leads. If you have leads, you can go and recruit top talent. If you have leads, you can retain that top talent. And again, if you have leads, all you got to do, and you've developed system processes, all you do, feed the leads into your program, and at the end, it'll kick out a deal, which increases your bank account. So I hope you love it. I certainly had fun with this guy. I like today's guest. All right, let's get to it.
Welcome to Super Agents Live. This is the one place where you can come and hear the most successful people in real estate. You'll hear how these super agents built their businesses, how they stay productive, and how they stay motivated. Who am I? My name's Toby Salgado, and I made my first million in real estate. And I'm your host for the next 30 minutes while we talk to yet another amazing real estate entrepreneur. Stay tuned.
Let's go! Yeah!
Before we get to the content, just a quick bit of housekeeping. My Twitter handle is @SuperAgentsLive. We have a very, very big following on Twitter. I'd love to meet you out there on Twitterland, Twitterville. And Twitter and LinkedIn are fast becoming ways to another marketing channel for you guys if you do it right. So I'd love to see you out there. Hashtag for the show is Unpack That Idea. Would love to see your comments. I'd love to have you join the conversation. You're not going to want to miss future episodes like this one. So we're always finding ways, delivering content to hope give you guys the edge in your business, give you guys the edge against your competition. So go to the site, register. Get on my list. I share stuff with my list that I don't share on the show. And lastly, one of the things, the big differentiators between top producers, or at least the top 20% of people in the market, and the bottom 20 is the top people have coaches. Now, I don't know what your thing is, what you think about coaches, but I can tell you, even if they don't or aren't able to give you new strategies and tactics like you learn on this show, they can keep you accountable. And accountability is important. Hey, Johnny. Hey, Jill. Did you make the 20 calls last week, 50 calls, 100 calls, whatever, that you said you were going to make? Boom. So listen, here's the deal. Bob Corcoran Coaching, they coach 85 of the top 250 agents in the nation. I'm personal friends with Bob. He loves what we're doing, and he has offered to give you guys a free coaching session, a free business evaluation, however you want to look at it. And this is only for our listeners. So here's what you do. Email Bubba, B-U-B-B-A, Bubba at CorcoranCoaching.com, and just tell him you listen to the show and that you'd like a free evaluation or coaching session, however you want to term it. All right, let's get to it. On the show today, now today's guest, we're going to dig into what he's doing, and I'll tell you right now, we had a very quick pre-chat, and the big difference between the people who produce and the people who don't is that the people who are top agents putting down big numbers, they always seem to have a business. They formed it like a business. Now today's guest, he's the CEO. He also has a COO. He has a director of lead gen. He has a marketing manager. He even has a full-time writer for his blog. So he's taking this seriously, as well as a total team size 28, 500 deals, 500 transactions right there, right in the middle of that elusive 1,000, $200 million in volume. And he's doing this in Philly. I'm thrilled to welcome Noah Ostroff. Hey, Noah, thanks for taking the time out today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show today. I appreciate it.
So, listen, I've given the audience just a nuts and bolts overview of what your business looks like. But before we get to what's working, what's not, your struggles, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I got into the business I got into the real estate business back in 2003. Back then, I was more on the project management side. I worked for Toll Brothers as a project manager for them, worked for Centex Homes as a project manager / construction manager for them. So I kind of cut my teeth in new construction. I was doing that down in Florida. And when I moved back to Philadelphia, I decided I want to get into the sales aspect of things. And kind of right from the beginning, I was kind of developing my business from the listing side, because everybody was telling me from the beginning, you have to develop the listing side of the business. If you control the listings, you control the inventory, you control the business, you control the market. So that's kind of what I focused on. It was always important for me throughout my career to have a good work-life balance. And really the only way to accomplish that is to focus the majority of your business on listings, and then as you start to grow, actually grow a business and not just a sales business, but a true business.
Right.
So from day one, I kind of grew doing that. So after I had enough listings that I really just couldn't handle anymore, and the amount of leads that were coming in were too much for me to handle. I went out and I hired an assistant, and I hired my first buyer's agent. We were very heavily marketing based, and we've always kind of looked at ourselves as a marketing and lead generation business, and just real estate happens to be our commodity. So, in keeping up with that, we've always kind of pushed the boundaries in terms of what we could do different than everybody else in terms of marketing and lead generation. We had one of the first IDX websites in Philadelphia. We generated a lot of our leads through that website, phillyliving.com back then. We ranked very highly for pretty much every real estate related keyword that you could think of back then, let's say, 2008, 9, 10, maybe even 11. But then as more and more people started to enter the market, more and more agents started to get real estate IDX websites. More and more companies started to sell their leads to other people and start to try to get into that segment. We had to try to find other ways to differentiate ourselves from the rest of the market. So we were constantly trying to stay on top of the marketing. And because of that, we were always able to generate a good amount of leads. And as we generated more leads, I brought on more agents to the team. And as we brought on more agents to the team, we were generating more business, and then we brought on more assistants and more marketing people. And, really in the last couple of years, we've kind of transformed our whole business and the way we look at the business in terms of helping the agents on our team really grow a business within our own business, and really focusing heavily on training and helping them grow their businesses, doing it the right way. So that's kind of how we've approached the business really from the beginning. We're kind of at a critical time right now where I think you're starting to see the development of teams become more of the norm. And a lot more agents have been joining teams because it becomes difficult for them to compete against the larger teams in terms of just marketing power, money that they can throw towards things. It's kind of when Walmart comes into a market, the small mom and pop stores can't really compete with the big stores anymore because they just don't have the resources to do it. And I think that's what you're seeing right now in the real estate market as these teams become bigger and more powerful and are doing more transactions and have more money to throw towards marketing and resources and support and administrative staff. I think you're going to see a big change in the market over the next couple of years and how companies are structured, and not only that, but how teams are structured as well.
That's interesting. Let's get to that. I want to get to that, but I want to go back to the beginning. Okay. I mean, so you're this project manager, you're out there, you're not slinging a hammer. And this is going back to Florida and Toll Brothers and Syntex. You're not slinging a hammer, but you're overseeing other people that are slinging hammers, right? You're looking at plans and saying, hey, this vent needs to be here, and why isn't it there? So you quit that.
Correct.
Here's what I'm not getting, right? So those guys are good managers, right? You learn how to manage these rough and tumble, general I'm sorry. You're not necessarily managing generals. You're managing subcontractors, right? The tile guy, the plumber, the roofer, the framer. That just because, and I'm sure you were a great manager, but that doesn't mean that you know anything about a business. Where did you get that? When you set out in real estate, Noah, that was your thesis, your edict day one is I'm going to build this like a business. How'd you even know? Where'd you get that blueprint?
To be honest with you, I didn't quite have that blueprint when I first started in the business. I had to look at some of the larger teams that were doing what I wanted to do and try to mimic some of the things that they wanted to that I wanted to accomplish and some of the things that they were doing. But I didn't really have that roadmap. It wasn't until maybe, a couple years ago when I was introduced to the Keller Williams organization, and, they really put out the training manuals and pretty much the roadmap of how the business should be run. Gary Keller put out the book Millionaire Real Estate Agent, I think about 10 or so years ago, maybe a little longer than that. And that really kind of outlined how the business should be run like a business. And, really once I got my hands around that, and once I really started to, mastermind and network with with the people around the country that are doing business at a way higher level than me. I mean, some people that are doing 1,000+ transactions a year. I really started to try to listen to what they were doing and try to take a lot of things that they had put into their businesses and try to do that in Philadelphia. And really in the last year, putting that stuff in place really has changed our business. I mean, we've almost doubled the amount of production we've done over, just in the last year from doing that and really running it like a business.
Okay, so that's okay. Get it. Now, how so you're doing about 200 million, right? So, and I've had a lot of those top KWs. The guy that is doing a similar number is getting Russell Rhodes out in Dallas. I'm sure you know Russell.
Okay.
Do you know Russell,
Yep.
right? Okay, great guy.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, you had the right idea, right? So I'm going to look at what Russell's doing, and I'm going to go and network with a guy and find out what he's doing, and then I'm going to go implement it in Denver. In Philadelphia. How does somebody like you, let's say that you're doing 50 deals, okay? How does somebody like you get access to a Russell Rhodes and actually be able to spend time with him and pick his brain?
Well, we have a mastermind group that we put together. I shouldn't say we. I was invited to the group. It was put together before I was brought into it, but it's 100 of the top agents from around the country, and we get together minimum of 4 times a year to just share ideas and talk about what's working and what's not working and how to elevate business to the next level, how to leverage ourselves and how to leverage other people to grow the business, because there's only so many hours in the day, and there's only so much that one person can do. No matter how good you are, we can't achieve these high levels without surrounding ourselves with good people. And a lot of what I do and a lot of what the other agents that I'm sure you've had on your show do is bringing on good people that can form the synergy. Like-minded people who think the same, that all are kind of going towards that same goal, and having more people trying to do all the tasks that it takes can get you to a much higher level. So there's about 100+ different points in a real estate transaction, and being a real estate agent, you're expected to be good at lots of different things: administrative, marketing, generating leads, working on websites, you name it. You're expected to be good at all those different things. Well, the truth is that we're not all the best at all of those different things, but there's some people that are great at marketing, some people that are great at lead generation. And so what we've done, a lot of the people that are growing teams like me, we're putting specialists in those different places to handle those. So you have certain personality types that like to generate leads and like to work with sellers, and you have other people that have no interest in working in sales, and they just like real estate, but they want to work in operations or marketing or whatever the different jobs we have are. So, just like any other professional organization, like a doctor's office or anything like that, we've assembled a team of specialists that are doing these different things that are achieving everything at the highest level. And so we're providing a great customer experience. We're providing good experience for our customers. It's better for the agents because they have the support that they need to grow their businesses. They may not all be good at running businesses. So we provide them with that support and structure so they can grow their businesses within our business.
Okay, and that's great. And again, later I want to talk about how you find talent, how you locate the talent as well as bringing them on and then retain them. But going back, so you were fortunate enough to be invited to this mastermind group with 100 other agents in it. Everybody needs to have a mentor, especially, again, somebody like you. You didn't have the roadmap, you didn't have the blueprint, but again, you were fortunate enough to get into this group. What advice would you give someone who they're not at that level that they're being invited to these groups? They're out there kind of on their own. Maybe they're at Keller Williams and they know who you are, Noah, but you're probably not going to take a phone. You'll get on the phone with me because I'm going to blast this out to 40,000 people. But if it was just me, I doubt that you'd come and spend 45 minutes of your time with. me. So what advice would you give people to go and able to find a mentor or be able to access somebody like you or a Russell?
Well, there's a lot of great coaching programs out there. It's always good to hire a coach and, have somebody that can guide you through the process. Look at your business as a marketing and lead generation business. Nobody ever went out of business from having too many leads. So if you focus every day in generating leads and having good habits and coming in every day and picking up the phone and figuring out new ways to generate business, you will always have a business. And once you have a business and grow, you'll real estate the snowball effect. Once you start to get the momentum going, more and more business will come to you. You'll get more and more referrals, and that's how you really grow a business. But it really all starts with lead generation.
Yep, I agree. Okay, and I want to get there. You're jumping way ahead where I want to get some of the nuts and bolts, the mechanics out of the way, because I know people are wondering, like, man, how do I? Okay, so go and get a coach. Now, for you, do you have a coach, Noah?
I don't have one. I'm embarrassed to say I don't have one right now, but we are going to be hiring one.
Yeah. So let me ask you. You've had phenomenal success. Why do you think somebody like you should even? The person who's going to coach you probably has not had the success that you've had, whether in growing a team or number of transactions or what do you think somebody like you would get out of a coaching program?
Well, you know what? I don't necessarily need somebody to coach me that has done what I've done. I'm looking for somebody who's done what I haven't done, and that's really what I'm looking for. So as we, like you said, we're running this like a business, and just like any other business, when we have a product that works, and when we have a business that we can sort of duplicate, when we have enough systems in place, we're going to try to duplicate it. And by doing that, we're going to expand into other markets. So right now, we're looking to take what we have and the systems that we have and what we're doing and do them in other markets as well. So that would be the coach that I would be looking for, somebody who could help me expand into other markets, people that have knowledge on doing that. And that doesn't have to be somebody in the real estate industry. That could be somebody that works for Starbucks that has helped them with opening up new locations.
Right, absolutely. I'm sure you know Lisa Archer, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. That's. I've been picking her brain on how to do that as well. I think she's had a moderate level of success with that. Okay, so you guys are a lead generation company. You're a marketing company, and as you said earlier, Noah, you said that real estate just happens to be the commodity that you sell. Whereas Starbucks is a retail business, but it's coffee is the thing that they peddle. So what does, maybe again, if I look at your staff, you have a director of lead gen, you have a marketing manager, you have a full-time writer, you very much are a marketing company. Maybe can you give us an idea of the channels? Let me back up. Give us your viewpoint, your philosophy on what a marketing company should do and should look like.
Okay, so if we look at it, there's a lot of different ways to answer that question. So if we look at it from a financial perspective and a return on investment, we're looking at 9 to 10 times return on every dollar that we spend. So if we spend $1,000, we expect to get $9,000 to $10,000 back from the investment. So if that's a marketing mailer that we're sending out, if we're spending, you get the point. If you're spending $1,000, we want $10,000 back. So from a financial perspective, that's kind of how we're looking at it. And I think anything with marketing, you can't really just throw things against the wall and expect them to stick. You actually have to strategically plan out how you want to spend your money, where what kind of return you're expecting to get, and that could be, if we're using websites as an example. So if we're spending money on Google AdWords or Facebook AdWords, and we're spending, just to say $1,000 on that. And so we need to understand, before we spend that $1,000, we need to understand how many visitors do we expect to get from our website from that 1,000 visitors. And once we understand that, we have to say, okay, well, how many of those people are actually going to fill out the registration form and become a prospect or a lead, whatever you're calling it? And of those leads, how many of them are we going to actually convert into people that want to work with us? And from that, how do we figure out, of those people that agree to work with us, whether they're buyers or sellers, how many of them are actually going to buy or sell a home? How many of those transactions are going to go to closing? So the typical stats on conversion rates are like 3 to 5% on website leads. So knowing that, we need to understand how much our deals are worth, because if you work in a market where your average price is $100,000, or if you work in a market where your average price is $500,000 or $1 million, those numbers are going to be very different. So you have to understand your cost before you spend money on stuff. So the way we kind of look at the business from a marketing perspective and from just where your deal should come from, we have basically 35% of our business we believe should come from center of influence, past clients, referrals, that type of stuff. So as far as that goes, we have marketing programs for that. So that's, email campaigns that go out to them. Those are phone calls that we make to them a certain number of times a year. Those are inviting them to different events that we have over the course of the year. We have a whole bunch of different campaigns for that bucket, if you want to call it the bucket, or that
channel
pillar, that channel. We believe that, now that everybody's doing stuff online, we believe in getting back to the basics as well. So even stuff as simple as open houses. We're saying that 15% of your business should come from open houses. And with an open house, we're saying you need to be doing a minimum of 2 to 3 open houses every single month to achieve that 15%. 15% of your business should be coming from websites. So that could be your own personal website. That could be Truly, Zillow, Realtor.com, wherever you're advertising and getting website leads. And now, when I say 15%, some people might be listening to this and saying, well, I do, 95% of my business is website leads. Well, I'm not saying, if you're doing 50 deals a year and 95% of that is website leads, I'm not saying turn that 50% into, 8 deals a year. I'm saying take that 50 deals, and that 50 deals should represent 15% of your total business.
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing the other things, then you're missing out on the opportunity to do 100% of your total of what you should be able to do. We're saying 5% of your business should be coming from prospecting for sale by owners and expired business. Now, again, I know a lot of people focus 100% of their business on that. This is just my philosophy on it. Mm-hmm. We're saying that I think I lost track of the math, but I think it's 10 or 15% of your business should be coming from farming. And when I say farming, that could be mailers that go out, that could be just listed cards, that could be just sold cards, that could be other types of mailers that you do around the neighborhood. That could be social media farming. So that's stuff that you post on Facebook or Twitter or any other social media avenues that you post on, that type of farming. And I think there's one other category I may have messed up in the math, but the last 10% should be coming from what we call face-to-face. So those are networking meetings. Those are, just getting together with people on a weekly basis. And we're saying that, we're telling the agents that you need to be getting in front of, you need to be having 2 networking meetings or 2 lunches with people every single week to achieve that statistic. So that's kind of the high level of how we're looking at things. In each category, there's different marketing avenues that we use to, tell people what to do.
Yeah.
So, you've got the stuff for websites, you've got the stuff for the farming, and we hold events. So we have basically our take on the home buyer seminars, what we call it Sip and Learns, where we invite people out and we have a topic of conversation. We might have a guest speaker to talk about different type of loan program or a different type of how to invest in the property, or it could be a first-time home buyer, and we bring out wine and cheese, and that's kind of our take on it. So we're big on differentiating ourselves from other people, and probably the biggest, most important thing is going to be just picking up the phone and calling. Another avenue of I guess you can consider this marketing, or definitely consider lead generation, would be inside sales associates. So that's something that we're bringing to the table in our team now. We're looking to open up that department as we speak. And I'm sure you've talked to a lot of other big teams that have inside sales departments already.
Yeah, I think
that's probably going to be your best return right there.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit late on that one. I think you're doing so much stuff that's right. I'm surprised you.
I'm very late on that.
Yeah,
I'm very late on that.
So
we actually tried to do this about 2 years ago, and we're not successful with it. So we really understood and learned what to do now, and now we're going at it again.
Okay, cool. And look, I'm going to throw something. I'm going to throw a link out here that it can help you, but also, if somebody's out there listening, they're like, "Oh, this is gold," and I guarantee you, somebody on Twitter is, and I'm thinking of the one guy. They're going to listen to this and go, "This is gold." So that person who's thinking about ISA, if you don't have an ISA, I have one through my Outdesk. You can save, both and everybody listening, you can save $170 on the sign up deal using our link. If you go to myoutdesk.com/superagentslive, that link will save you $170. Okay, so moving on from here, Noah, I'm going to start to cut you off a little bit because you're throwing out a ton of stuff, and it's all good stuff, but I don't want people to miss anything. Now let me go back. Okay. You laid out this wonderful model that I think we should spend a few minutes on. You rolled out this funnel, and you said, okay, if we're going to spend $1,000 on Facebook ads, let's figure out how many people are going to visit the site, how many then are going to register, what percentage of that is going to actually make a purchase or sell. Okay, now why I think that's important is people can use that same model. And it's so simple, but people forget it. If you want to make $100,000 this year, right? Find your average sale in the market, and maybe where I'm going with this, right? Noah, maybe you can explain to the audience rather than me.
You're trying to you want me to back into the math?
Yeah, back into the math for them, because again, it's a simple math model, but I think too many people just don't know it, and so if you could explain it to them, I think that'd be helpful.
All right, I don't know that I have all the statistics off the top of my head, but basically the general rule of thumb is you're going to convert at a 3 to 5% rate from the leads that come in. And now, we kind of use the term leads loosely. They're just inquiries, right? People that register on our website. So if you're converting at a 3 to 5% rate, and there's, let's say, 1,000 leads that come in, so what would that be? I don't have my calculator in front of me. What was that, 30 to 50?
Yeah, yep.
30 to 50 people that you're going to convert. Okay? And then you're going to multiply that by what your average commission is in your market. So if your average price is, $500,000, maybe your average commission is, somewhere between $13,000 to $15,000. If your average price is $200,000, maybe your average commission is somewhere between $4,000 to $6,000. So you multiply it by what your average commission is. And if you have splits with your brokerage, or if you're splits with other people, you should use the net number, not the gross number, because you want to look at the number that's actually coming to you, and multiply that by the number of leads that you need, or you multiply it by the number of leads that we just mentioned, or you could divide your average commission by the amount of money you want to make off of that avenue. So if your average commission is $4,000 and you want to make $100,000 off of this, you need to do, 25 deals from this?
Right.
I don't have my calculator.
Sure, that's okay.
You have to do 25 deals off of this avenue, so you can back into the number as well.
Right. You can back
in. And then knowing that you need to do 25 deals, you divide that by 3% or divide that by 5%, and that gives you the number of inquiries that you need to get.
Right. And you can back into the total capital deployment that you need in order to get the numbers. And the other way that you can use this model that Noah's explaining is, if you want to make just $100,000 a year, take your average sale in the market and go, okay, how many deals is that based on your net side? And then go, okay, on average, I know I need to make 70 calls to get an appointment. You can figure out how many calls you need to make, and then you can go, okay, what's my closing rate? My closing rate is 30%, right? So you can so everybody out there, you can use this model that Noah just explained to you to figure out literally the dollars that you need to deploy to get a desired outcome, as well as the number of phone calls you need to make on a daily and weekly basis. It's so simple once you know how to use it. Too many people just don't. Okay, so I appreciate you bringing that up. Now, Noah, you said something that was a little bit startling to me. You want, for every dollar that you deploy in marketing, you want a 9 to 10x return. You put $1 out, you want to get 9 or 10 back. You put $100 out, you want to get 900, 1,000, 1,000, 9,000, and 10,000. Now, I will tell you for radio, for example, we shoot for a 3 to 5x return. Now, in some markets, we are seeing 10 to 12x, but that seems like a really high number for you to swing for. I mean, where are you finding where are you getting that kind of return? You put $1 out and you get 9 or 10 back.
Well, that's the stuff that you have to track closely. So you have to remember that real estate is, we get paid a lot of money for every lead. So it's, like we just talked about, potentially your average commission is $4,000 to $5,000. 2 deals pays for $1,000 worth of money spent. So it's not hard. It's not very hard for us to make that kind of return on our investments.
Now, again, to help everybody put this into context, so certainly if you spend $1,000 on so 10% of your business should come from farming, right? So part of that farming, you're going to be sending out direct mail. What's the timeline for this? Because obviously people can't spend $1,000 today and expect next month to get 9 or 10x back. Do you have different to reach this desired 9 and 10%? Do you have different timelines for each of these channels?
There are different timelines for each different channel. It's hard to give you exact numbers on that, but it's to be honest with you, sometimes it's difficult to track as well. So for website leads, the typical turnaround time on that, on average, could be anywhere between like 9 months to maybe even 2 years from the time they become a lead on your site. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get somebody on your website that's going to buy a house in a month, because that happens, a good number of times as well. But sometimes the money spent is not brought back into your pocket for could be a year. Yeah. And some of our farming programs, it's not a one-time thing. So we might send out a specific mailer to 15,000 people, and we might get 1% of the people that contact us. So of the 15,000 mailers we send out, we might get 150 people that call or email us, which is pretty good. But we may not, we may have to send out a second mailer to get more people and a third mailer again. So we spread them out over the course of a couple months. So over the course of maybe 6 months is when we'll see the total amount of people that are coming back to us. And then eventually, you have some stragglers that don't get back to you for a couple months after that. I don't know that I could put a time frame on it. I think everything you do, you should commit to a year doing it for doing it consistently for a year. Because a lot of it, with marketing, it's consistency and persistency. So if you don't do it enough times and for long enough, you're not going to ever reap the benefits of the results.
I absolutely agree. And the other thing, Noah, is that when you have a very, very sort of omnipresent kind of view on this, and when you are doing Facebook ads to a group of people, and then you're sending out mailers, there's going to be some overlap, and when you start to get that overlap, one channel is enhancing another channel. You get this enhancement effect. Okay, now. If I go back to how you explained, you were the first one to get an IDX website. You early on ranked high for keywords, and obviously with Penguin updates and the Google updates, a lot of people that's getting harder and harder to do. I have to ask the same question, right? You're not a tech guy. How are you early to market with and see success with again using IDX or being able to know how to use appropriately long tail keywords and just overall real estate keywords?
You're asking, how do I know this stuff?
How do you know that stuff? How'd you learn that stuff?
So I consider myself a student of the game. It's all about learning new things, new techniques. Just going to seminars and trainings and listening to the professionals in the field. We realize that everything we do marketing-wise probably has a 6 to 9 month cycle before everybody else catches up and it becomes ineffective. So we try to stay ahead of the curve as far as that goes. And when SEO was the big keyword and the big thing and long-tail keywords, we made sure that we were either the most knowledgeable on the subject, or we made sure that we hired a firm, an SEO firm, that was the most knowledgeable on the subject and that could take us to where we needed to go. So like this is what I was talking about before. So we're expected to be experts in all these different things. We don't have to be experts. We just have to know how to hire the experts and bring on the people that can do the things that we understand need to be done.
Right. And I think too, you said something, very, very, I think, insightful earlier. When we were talking about coaching, you said, well, I don't need to hire a coach that's done what I've done in real estate. Maybe I hire a coach that has helped Starbucks, launch multiple, locations out of state. So I think too many people when they want to learn about real estate, that they go, oh, I want to stay in real estate. And I think that you can get a lot of really good cross-pollination by studying other industries. Now, and so that's a big setup to ask you that question. Is that how some of your knowledge has that you've gotten it? Have you studied other industries and then taken those strategies and applied it to real estate?
I do. I study other industries. I study other businesses, and I read a lot of. If I read how-to books. About how other businesses and other industries have become successful, because kind of the law of business is all the same. I shouldn't say it's all the same, but there's a lot of similarities between businesses and growing a business and being successful in a business. And if you listen to those ideas and you figure out how you can relate it back to your own business and your own industry. And, that's what I kind of do. I listen to what other people have done and try to mimic it and figure out how we can make it work in our business.
Got it. Okay. And I don't know if I asked you this, but I'll ask you again. And by the way, so I Googled your name, Noah Ostroff. You obviously 1, 2, 3, dude. You're 3. You're all over the first page. You're doing something really smart. You're delivering an ad. Even though I Googled you, to make sure that you're staying top result, you're delivering an ad with your keywords. Now, here's this. I don't know if you were aware of this. When I clicked that ad, you service temporarily not working. Now, let me see if it works on this one. Yeah. So 503, service temporary unavailable. New website upgrade in progress. Are you aware of that?
No. So I'm glad you told me that. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, check it out. Okay. So again, you're a student of the game. You're learning wherever you can learn. Is there? And we got a late start. We have to start wrapping up. Unfortunately, man, maybe I should make this other person wait. I'm gonna keep you on. What's working? What's one thing? If you had $1,000 to deploy, right? And knowing what you know, Noah, where would you deploy that $1,000 today, right now?
That's a good question. Well, I guess I'm not going to answer that question because I think that there's too many people that it depends on what stage of your career you're in. Okay, that $1,000 could go towards hiring an assistant. It could be a couple weeks worth of a salary for an assistant that you could go out and get. It could be to generate AdWords or something campaign. I don't know. That's a difficult question. It's a very good question because I don't think I can answer it.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine, and I agree with you. I'll try to take a stab at it. I think that if people out there don't, this is a Gary Keller thing all the way, right? You need leverage. So deploy that $1,000 where you feel you can get the highest leverage, whether that's an assistant, your ISA, or whatever. And you don't always have to go out and spend it on marketing. And I think too many people go, that's what I need to do. Okay, that's fine. That's fair. Let me ask you this one. Again, you have a pretty rich and varied background in building your business. But what do you know now, right now, that you wish you would have known when you started back in 2003?
So I wish that I would have understood. I wish I would have read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent back then because it really is the roadmap to what you should be doing. I got bits and pieces of that, so I was lucky enough to kind of understand from the beginning that, listings and leads and leverage was the big thing to be doing. So I was lucky enough to at least have had that knowledge, and that's what I focused on. But I probably, if I had to do it over again, I may have leveraged myself a little bit sooner. I may have hired more operations people a little bit sooner. Because for a couple of years, I literally was running everywhere I went. I would run to the printer. I would run to my car, and you can get burnt out in this industry very, very easily. This unlike a lot of other industries, the more you work, the harder you work, you actually can do more business and grow your business bigger. And that is kind of a downfall to some people who really like to work and really understand there's no ceiling to this business. I always recommend making sure you have a good work-life balance from the beginning. Make sure you establish your systems straight from the beginning. Make sure you establish good habits from the beginning. Make sure you're always, focusing every day and coming in and generating leads and putting a schedule together and letting people know when you're available and when you're not available. Just doing a good job of running your business like a business. Again, not always being available at 10 o'clock at night for people.
Right. Yeah. Agreed. And listen, I'm going to drop another link. So everybody out there, Noah is saying he wish he would have read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent earlier. That's a book that everybody should have in their bookcase, and you can get a free copy on us, man. Just use our link. Go to audibletrial.com/superagentslive and get a free copy. See that, Noah? Man, I saved you $170, and I'm giving you a free book. So
I think that's amazing. And anybody that has not read it should definitely read it. It should be the number one book you read when you get into the real estate industry.
Yeah,
or if you're in the real estate.
Yeah, and you should read it. You should read it like before, as you're studying for your license. If you're there, you should be cycling back and forth because some of the stuff, as you said earlier, Noah, sometimes you need to be at a certain level before you can really understand. You can't. You have to get that aha moment. Sometimes you have to travel down the road a little bit before you can understand it. All right.
You read it once a year. Every time you grow your business and get to that different level, and refer back to it like an encyclopedia. Do you have encyclopedias anymore?
No, I don't know. I'll tell you, man. This is for you. A book that I'm reading right now that I'm in love with is it's called The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes. Have you read that one?
What's it called? I don't think I've read it, but what's it called?
It's called The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes.
No, I have not. I haven't read that. I'll write that one down.
Yeah, because here's what I'm struggling with. We obviously have the radio arm, but I want to help real estate agents. Here's the big miss. Here's the big fail from 98% of real estate agents. And I think you're a little bit more on track than most, but I think if real estate agents can think and act like internet marketers, truly and do what they do, I think that person or that team is going to win. And and I'm learning all that I can about how to truly market on the internet as an internet marketer. And that's what I want to bring to my audience. And ultimately, create some courses and help people get there. Okay, really quickly, if you can. You started out with hire the right people and get great people to surround you. How do you go about recognizing talent and then bringing those, luring those people onto your team?
So before you can lure people onto your team, you have to have a value proposition for them. So you have to really, number one, understand what your value is going to be and create that value. Back when I first started, my value was leads. We had a lot of leads, and so we brought agents onto the team that wanted leads. That kind of hindered our growth a little bit because essentially you needed to have a certain amount of leads per agent. So that was the value back then. Now, what we realize is that in order for people to be really successful in this business, they have to have a good support staff around them, people that are better than what they are at the job. So that's a marketing staff, that's administrative staff that can write up your agreements of sale and do paperwork for you and do the running around legwork that somebody else should be doing while you're out selling and generating leads. We provide the leads, of course, as a bonus. We provide the culture and the structure, and real estate's a lonely business, so having a team with a good culture and other people to share ideas off of and bounce ideas off of, and that really helps. So we have a lot of value in our support staff and our team and our culture, and that's the value for us in attracting people to our business. How do we recognize the talent? Well, study the market. So there's different ways that we look at people. So, we don't always need to find people that are in the real estate industry that are doing a certain amount of production, because they may not fit in well with our team and what we believe in and what we want agents to do. So we're perfectly fine with looking outside the real estate industry at business professionals, either in other sales organizations or just good, smart, level-headed business people that can come in and, spend 6 months learning the business and have a much higher upside than somebody that's already in the business and, has bad habits. So that's kind of what we're doing, and that's what I'd recommend is just finding good, smart people and bringing them into the industry and teaching them good habits and what and helping them grow, and ultimately will come back to you.
I agree, and I think the other thing, is that people should always have their radars tuned for talent, right? Like if you go to a bar, that bartender may make a fabulous real estate agent. Your waiter the next time you go out to dinner, that person could be a fabulous part of your team. Okay, really quickly, I'm gonna ask you the same questions that I ask everybody. This one might be tough for you, but hey, for you, Noah, in your personal and or professional growth, I just said growth. Who's been a mentor to you?
That is a good question. I've had a lot of good mentors along the way that they may not even realize that they were my mentors. I don't know if that qualifies as them as a mentor, but people that I've just kind of followed and learned from.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly, in the real estate industry over the last couple of years, Gary Keller has been a great mentor in terms of providing the roadmap of what we should be doing and how we should be conducting our business and our life. I don't know that I can attribute it to one or two people. There's just been a lot of people along the way that have really helped shape the way that we've grown as people and business people.
No, you answered it perfectly, because you highlighted the exact thing that I wanted to get across, is that, you can have a mentor from afar. And I think too many people think that, I get these emails all the time, Noah. I get them, hey, Toby, I would love for you to be my mentor. And I'm like, oh man, you know what? This is just work for me. Like that's not the way to ask me, right? You can follow me from afar. You can see what I'm doing, and you can, and you can intuit how or why I'm doing it. And I think, again, that's what you said is, you had people were mentoring you, but they didn't know it. So I think that's a great point to get across, is it doesn't have to be formal. Look, you know what you said earlier, Noah? You said that I don't exactly know how you said it, but you said, I think you said, I wish I would have formed better habits in the beginning. So how about this? Let me turn that around. What is a personal habit that you have that you feel has contributed to your success?
A personal habit that's contributed to my success is that I said I'm very persistent. I've always focused my business, like I talked about earlier, about lead generation. So whether I did it every day or I just subconsciously did it every day, I was always looking at the business. When I would walk into a crowd, the way I would look at the crowd and say, all these people need a place to live. Or, whether they're renters, whether they're buyers, whether they're sellers, they all need a place to live, a house over their heads. So for me, everybody was an opportunity. And I was always very focused on that and very focused on how could I generate the business, almost sometimes to a fault where, it may have affected social situations a little bit. But that was probably my biggest habit that I focused on, was just constantly generating leads.
So okay, and just for clarity for me, so you said I was very persistent. Would you had your radar tuned for leads all the time, right? You said all these people are my prospects or can be my prospects. Would you classify that more as persistence or being consistent?
Well, you're right. Okay, so that would be consistent. But the persistent part that I'm, I guess, referring to that I didn't mention was I really wouldn't give up on anybody until they pretty much yelled at me and said, leave me alone, take me off your list or stop calling me. So, I would call, I would email, I would find new ways to get in front of them. I would send them stuff of value. I sometimes had to stay in front of people 20 or 30 times before they finally, I used to get calls saying like, all right, I got 20 letters from you and phone calls. Like, I feel like you're a guy I need to talk to. You're so persistent.
That's
I just
awesome.
want to, I feel like I just need to talk to you just because of that.
Right.
So, I don't know. I never really gave up on anybody.
Perfect. I love it. All right, buddy. Hey, man, I encourage my audience, if they've gotten anything out of this, and you dropped it, man, there's lots and lots of nuggets that you unleashed in this episode. So I encourage everybody, if they've gotten anything, to reach out and say thank you to you. And look, maybe somebody has a referral for you. Maybe somebody wants to join your team. I don't know. Where can people find you, Noah?
So we have our website, phillyliving.com. You can also feel free to email me. I respond to all my emails. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has about situations in their business. My email address is Noah, Noah, at phillyliving.com. And, I'm always looking to network with good people and talk to people and help other people grow in their business, because I wouldn't have gotten to where I am today without, other people helping me.
Awesome. I love it. And listen, I'll be the first to kick off the thank you train. Look, you got a big team. You're doing 500 deals a year. You're a busy guy. So I appreciate you taking time out to share with me and my audience.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Let's keep in touch.
All right, take care.
See ya.